We need to come up with solutions, again, na mag-complement ang Filipino call center agents or whatnot in the BPO industry in the country with AI.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
You're recognized, Mr. Ligot.
Yeah, we covered the BPO industry for the past almost 36 months. Just to share some statistics, according to IBPAP, 8% of BPOs have already lost headcount.
How many percent, sorry?
8%.
8%.
But complementary, 13% have also gained new jobs. So in a way, may konting offset. I think the big question is the new clients, because existing clients of BPOs, they tend to be quite sticky for now. Mahirap kasing mag-outsource. But in terms of new volume, that's the question. Because, in fact, early this year, Andreessen Horowitz, one of the venture capitalists, they really made an announcement now that they're making a big investment in AI companies that are specifically targeting the BPO sector. Now, from our perspective, probably we won't feel it maybe for another 2 to 3 years. There is, though, a more immediate threat, pending legislation in the US called the Gallego Bill, which actually mandates, number one, any company that outsources more than 30% of their operation to disclose to the government. And there is a parallel bill called Bring Call Centers Back to the US. So I think it's part of the Trump admin's protectionist, populist approach. By proportionality, North America is 70% of our BPO industry at the moment. And while we were there, we were exploring, why don't we diversify to Europe or some other countries? Apparently, well, this is anecdotal, the culture in Europe, hindi sila mahilig mag-outsource. Or, for example, in Germany, they kind of look down on the concept of someone in the Philippines spending their night shift working for Germans. They'd much rather import them na lang, parang OFW na, instead of BPO. So that has stymied the growth of the BPO industry in the non-North American market. And then finally, another risk, although probably a couple of years out pa, voice accent neutralization. That's one AI. Kumbaga, you sound Bisaya, now you sound like BGC, parang ganyan. And another one is translation AI. So for example, for a fact, software developers in Vietnam are on average better and cheaper than Filipino counterparts, pero they don't speak English. But now with AI, kaya na. So I think that's the medium to long-term risk. Right now kasi English talaga lang ang defense natin. We can speak whatever, UK, Canadian, American English. But as far as the hard technical skills are concerned, there are better developers in Africa, there are better developers in Vietnam. Pero proportionally, nasa US ang ating concentration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So pati ako, pwede na ako magka-British accent?
Kahit French accent, sir, if you want to.
Available ba yan sa Pilipinas?
Yeah, there are the services, just to name them, there's a company called Sanas. They specialize on call centers. And then you can go to an app called HeyGen, I think for $20. And then you can speak Japanese, you can speak Spanish.
So kunwari nagtatagalog ako ngayon, in real time, lalabas sa
It will
mic sa
translate.
speaker.
Maybe a slight delay, pero the AI is getting smarter and smarter as we speak. Pabilis ng pabilis.
And going back to the question, how do you see saving the BPO industry in 2 to 3 times, 2 to 3 years, as you said?
Yeah, this is opinion na to. We had a similar problem with the manufacturing industry a decade ago or 2 decades ago, where we were one of the top destinations for manufacturing, pero we did not scale up. So we stayed in chip assembly. And of course, the prevailing mahalang kuryente dito is always a roadblock. In the BPO industry, if we're not careful, we have the same problem. We've stuck to low-level voice jobs. And actually, the defense is you move up the value chain, more analytical work. Now, to be fair, there are naman BPOs who do that, mga back offices. Like I myself, I had a brief stint in a bank, BPO, and the work they were sending was really highly advanced. But of course, I think we optimized for the low-end, quote-unquote, low-end labor. And for us to attract high-end talent, we also need high-end education. So we're back to the upskilling question. I'm not sure if 3 years is enough time to kind of catch up, but maybe AI can also be a mitigant to that.